Hey guys, alright, so it's WooGs here. I'm doing a build here that was suggested by Real Johnny, kind of gave me some gear here, which is the Oradin. Typically you go with the Holy Freeze variant, but we wanted to try the fire one because the cold one's much better because it only requires 2 piece, but the fire's, it's kind of interesting to be a different element. The res of Rathma for fire is actually one of his highest, well, his is his highest res. I'll post that in the comments after. So it's not the easiest to do, but I think it's quite strong. To be honest with you, I just finished leveling this paladin today. I have not taken him into a Rathma run solo on him yet, but I'm going to run right into the Zod level. I'm just feeling confident that it's going to work well based on the tests I have done. So it's kind of going right into that. I'll do a quick gear rundown for everybody in case they're curious. So we are, as I said, doing the Holy Fire Dragondin version, which utilizes Hand of Justice. This is a terribly rolled one, but kind of expensive rune to reroll, so just dealing with it. So we're really just using it for the 12 Holy Fire aura when equipped. And then we have the same in the Dragon rune word as the chest piece and also the shield. So that's kind of making the main build here, which gives us the level 36 Holy Fire aura. And then we're just running the Andes for the Rathma fight itself, just for the max poison res. Metal grid, just for AR, because AR can be a problem here. I just swapped in these gloves. I needed 20 IES for the last breakpoint and just trying to hit some res there. AR and some PLRs. These are kind of pretty sweet. The Life Leech doesn't do anything for me, but it's alright. Ravenfrost, again, AR, cannot be frozen. Good piece here. Snow Clash, there's quite a few options here. You could do the Verdungo's belt, even String of Ears, PTR, that kind of stuff if you want. I like the idea of a Snow Clash to get the high cold res for phase 1 with the towers and for dealing with knights and stuff like that. But I I would be okay to use it at Verdungo's here as well, just to get that higher vit and some FHR, which allow you to have even more life by moving some FHR charms to life charms. Nature piece is pretty standard. Again, AR here. Boots, we just wanted run walk, res, PLR, so this is kind of great. And that gives us the 90, 89. We actually have 88 lightning res. We don't really need it for Rathma, but I didn't want to lose up more charms just to get lightning up because there's not really any lightning in the fight, so not too worried about that. Minimum strength, minimum dex for your gear, and the rest in vitality. I actually have too much strength. I could have equipped all my gear and then respect to kind of strength bug this because you get strength here, you get strength here, and strength here. So with them already equipped and you respec, then I'll already be able to wear this and just a few more points to get to this piece that'll allow me to equip this piece. So I could reduce that total number of strength to allow me to have more vit, but I'm kind of greedily saving some respecs because the plan is to do this same build with lightning and then with cold to show the difference of each, obviously if they're successful. Then we just have a CTA with a really nice one with Holy Shield, just a shield for +2. And then we're using fire large charms. This is because we're running the aura here, so we're not, any aura offensive charms won't increase that aura. So this 4% ones will. So we're running a combination of life and FHR. Then I have a few placeholder ones, just because I couldn't fill them out quickly enough. An all res charm just to help us with our res, and some fire ones to cap out our res and our res slammed Annie and a torch. For skills, as we said, we're doing the Holy Fire. So you actually don't put any Holy Fire points in since we're running it off the gear. You're using the 3 synergies, which is resist fire, salvation, plus aimed. So we have plus aimed, resist fire, salvation. This gives us the maximum fire res with hard points as well. So you can play around with adding into plus cold and remove that belt if you want a bit more cold. But AR can be a bit low, so I like to throw the extra points into Zeal. Um, He said I have just 1 point everywhere else here. Now, this AR, it's quite important, but it's a bit debatable of how important because you are running Conviction is the next skill that you're actually maxing before Zeal, which is I'm running here, and you're getting the minus 67% defense, and you also so you have some minus target defense stats already, so your chance to hit and your attack rating isn't quite accurate there, but more AR is just better in my opinion than the benefits you would get if it was a little bit more life. Okay, so we're gonna run into this now, and hopefully everything kind of goes well. I haven't had any real practice on this yet, but we're gonna do this odd level 8. And we are doing this live, as I mentioned, not pluggy or anything. So hopefully ping and game lengths are looking good. So I think I'll pick up enough pots for that. So the life isn't the best here, but I think it should be fine with the number of pots. I think the damage will feel quite nice, but let's go into it together here. All right. Yeah, so we're sitting around 24.5, so it's not too bad. I do have no PDR, so I would be a little bit careful in some of the phases where you have these guys here. Or, sorry, in the next phase when I have the dolls, I don't really want to die to that. As you can see, in general for mapping, like you'll kind of use charge for the AoE, and then switch to Zeal when you're up close. For this fight, I'll basically just be using Zeal. But just use some charge here to get through this portion. Taking it a bit slow just to get used to my hotkeys right now. These are the guys I don't really want to deal with. But you can see the aura itself does pretty good damage on its own, like almost one-shotting these guys to begin with. Just barely doesn't one-shot them. And if you charge, you get the good AoE. But you could just charge through, and what we're going to be doing mostly is joust like this, and coming into the targets is my plan. I believe I'll have enough damage to kill all of the golems by utilizing joust, but we will see based on the first phase how that goes, and adjust accordingly. So usually what I do when I'm testing, I don't usually jump into a Zod level, but usually what I'll do is kind of the first phase, use it to judge my damage, and then based on that, kind of just adjust how I'm going to fight in the phase for the remaining ones. Okay, I'll let the amp wear off there. I don't think I need these extra antidotes. I brought them in just in case. I am only running 50 PLR, so just in case I want to overpod, as I'm not as used to this this character. But let's see how it goes. All right, here's phase 1. So we're gonna just jump right on him here. Yeah, the damage, as you can see there, is looking pretty good. I think I'll be able to skip the yeah, I'll be able to skip the Poison Nova phases. So he's kind of out of position a little bit there for these golems, because they're not supposed to be able to get that close to him that quickly. We will get all of them, but I think that was a bit odd positioning by him. He kind of teleported out of the center there. So if that happens, you just need to focus that golem first. I didn't quite see that happened, so this is going to be a test to see if we can do enough damage to skip the poison phase, which it looks like it was. So you could go around and freeze all of them one at a time, with because just of our cold damage. Like you could do something like this, just in case you have a little bit less damage and can't think you can get them. I mean, I would probably try that if I was doing this at all, any more budget or not. Unfortunately, this build doesn't really work so much on a budget because, as you see, you need to have all the rune words. It doesn't really work with 2 out of 3 It's balanced around the fact that you can have a level 36 aura. So if you go in with a level 24 aura, it's not really doing much at all damage. Now the other pieces like cold that only require 2, they're balanced around that, so you actually do just need the 2 and you do a lot of damage. Essentially the same damage as you have for fire, but you have one extra piece that you can use for, facets or defensive gear as you need. So that's kind of interesting option. That's kind of why it's more so used for bossing, just because you have so much more defensive stats that you can fit in. I probably shouldn't have tried to tank all of those spires there, but since I have the 89 cold, I figured I'd be fine. I'm just gonna play a little bit calm there and refill our pots. That's another one to be careful of. If you kind of are noticing you're running low on pots, just try to focus on that and don't panic. Typically if you run around panicking there, that's when you're going to try to be dodging and you get hit by stuff, and that's a potential for you to die. So that was not the greatest amount of pots left, but it is kind of a bit of a long phase, so I think we'll still be okay going into this. I don't expect too much trouble with phase 2 in general. I don't think phase 2 is a hard phase right now. Phase 3 will kind of be the test, I would say. Now the reason is, the damage nerfs that happened in the fight that made the magic damage that Rathma actually does is pretty low now, and one of his spells doesn't even do any damage at all, which is his teeth that he shoots out, so he has one less damaging spell, and his overall damage was kind of nerfed to compensate. That's just because of how phase 2 or phase 3 was changed. They kind of reduced the damage of all the bosses, since you have to fight both of them at the same time and you can't just instantly blow up men down like you used to be able to. They kind of thought that nerfing the bosses, I think, would fix that issue, to kind of allow you to do that, but I think they just kind of overcompensate a little bit, and it's a bit too, I don't want to say it's too easy, it's just too less damage they have. Like the Void Knights still do quite a bit of damage, and if you get all physical Void Knights, which I hope I don't get here, then that can be quite painful. I don't have PDR, so that would not be a nice surprise for me on the Zod here to get all physical knights. But let's see what happens there. I think it should still be okay. It would just be a little bit interesting. Yeah, I'm not let's say playing this like I would for mapping. I do have less AR when I charge, because I have no points in a charge except for the 1. So it's not the best, but as for mapping, you would kind of just be pushing through like that. I'm just trying to be a bit careful because I don't want to die to the dolls there while I'm using a Zod rune. So okay, so we're gonna go into the Rathma portion now, and let's basically the same strategy. I'm just gonna burst them down and then immediately go after any Conjuring Soul with Joust, and then do the same for the Knights. I'll just Joust one to the next as it comes off CD. It does have a bit of a CD, so I can't do it right away. So there's about a 3-second cooldown, I think. 3.4 second cooldown, so I just gotta be mindful of that. Alright, so we'll Joust on them here. So the Knight should come out in a second here. Well, we'll get this guy down first, just to make sure we don't have any surprises. That was a bit of an interesting, I'm not sure if that happened on the recording or not, or that freeze was just on my side, but yeah, it's nice that the Holy Fire just breaks that cage on its own. It was a nice That's really one of the chances you have of dying in this fight is kind of getting stuck in the cage when the knights come out. So the fact that that kind of just breaks to your AoE of Zeal, but also your Holy Fire aura itself. Now I got really good knights here. You see they're all poison knights, which are annoying because you stay poisoned for a long time, but the actual damage of that poison is really low. So much rather have that than deal with the physical knights plus amp damage. See that AoE of the Zeal is pretty nice, and the Holy Fire range kind of took those down pretty quickly. So I think if I played Phase 1 a bit better, this would look a lot more smooth. That being said, this is Zod, so they do have more health and more damage. I'm just going to finish them there, as opposed to killing the... normally when you get the soul, you would run out and stop. So we had this left. Normally you'd go out and kill the conjured soul, but when you finish the fight, it just disappears anyway. So I saw his health bar and just figured I'll just finish it. But if you were being extra careful, you would just kill that conjured soul just to be extra sure, because they do have quite a bit of damage there. And it really depends on your fire res. Since we are the Holy Fire version, we have high fire res just because of that the resist fire aura. Hard points giving us the 10 max fire, so that's why we're sitting at the 90. I think there probably is a few different ways you could play this, these elemental Zealer chargers in general, but I think this is probably the most consistent based on my kind of guesses what I wanted to do here. I'm just going to bring one extra antidote just in case I screw something up. Something could make sense to bring more. I'll see if I want to do that as I go through. Just because in this phase he will cast his Nova 4 times. I won't do enough damage. Oh, you can't really skip them actually. The only one you could potentially skip is the last one. But I won't be able to do that. But just to be extra sure. So I have to use 4, so bringing 1 extra is a good idea. A lot of people will bring like, maybe I'll bring 2. A lot of people will bring like 8 just to be extra sure, because there is a lot of weird poison damage, so sometimes it feels right just to, you know, antidote another one in a dicey situation, so you don't want to run out because you're being a bit safe. So I get it as well. I'm just not too sure how many potions I'll have left at the end of this Zod, so I don't want to being a bit greedy just in case. Just because we saw how many I had left at Phase 1, which was okay. Phase 2 I had a lot extra left, so probably will be fine, but I actually get some decent experience here. I just don't want them hitting me while I'm getting ready to go in. But this is very dense, this one right now. Okay, that should be all of them now. Okay, so we got full here. So that poisons, even with 90 poison res and PLR, you know, you still get decent poison damage from these sections, so you do want to be a bit careful. There is some debate in my mind about if you should attack Rathma or Mendeln first, because when you attack Mendeln first now, if you do enough damage, you phase Rathma at the exact same time. And once the Void Knights come out, both bosses are immune during that phase. So it could make more sense in my mind to do Rathma first, and the Knights come out, everyone's immune, you finish the Knights, and then Mendeln will go into his poison phase, and you do that and repeat. But I'm probably not going to try something new like that this time. Just no point trying something new. I'll just get it done. Alright, let's do it. since the soul's out, we're gonna kill him here. You see the knights came out just at the end. I tried to stop damaging for a bit so I didn't get the knights hitting me right when the poison comes out. That was weird. That was a weird little stuck animation. So the damage on this is kind of just right where you want to be, is right when you finish the Rathma phase, he kind of, or the men down phase, Rathma phases. So that's not too bad, to be honest. Now Decrepify really sucks on this fight. We're gonna get the last night phase out of the way here. So there's some Conjuring Souls up on the right side, so I'm gonna try to heal up a little bit and then kind of bait out a fire and go into them. It's kind of nightmare to have that many on top of each other. I'm just gonna finish off men down here so I stop being poisoned. And I can just put a couple more pots in. And we'll just finish the fight here just to be safe. Okay, so there's Zod, Rathma. I think I would have had a lot more if I did it a bit better there. But first go, yeah, not too bad. I think I went through all the skills and everything. I'll bring up the stats as well. I just went for 48 FHR, max IS breakpoint with Zeal. As I level up, I would put more points into Zeal. It'll increase my AR by like a little bit over 300 each level. So actually increasing my levels will do a lot here. I'm not 100% sure if I did all the skill quests and stuff. I think I did, but I kind of just rushed through it today. So I mean, yeah, that's Zod Rathma on the Dragondin. So yeah, stay tuned. GG's.